So welcome, folks. It's nice to see your names and chats over there. Yeah. Okay. So yesterday I began with that formulation that a certain kind of the complications of goals. Yeah. That we have goals. They give our life meaning. If we don't achieve them, it's not great. If we do achieve them, we lose the meaning-giving function of the goal itself. It's a different way of characterizing maybe dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, that wanting something is always different than getting it. Yeah. And so the response to that is to turn meditation not into a goal-directed pursuit. We see this in whole lineages, just embody the Buddha or something like this. And that's real. That's real, to sit without any sense of going or getting somewhere. It's an atelic activity, meditation. But meditation is also a telic activity, to use the language from Kiran Satya that I mentioned yesterday. It's also structured by goals, the goal of being free or more free. But the interesting thing about the way we make our way to that goal is we make our way to that goal in an atelic kind of way. Yeah. We're not pretending not to have goals exactly, but there's a sense of actually surrendering the goal-making mind, the striving, the sense of being sandwiched in time between the past and the future. We make progress towards goals by giving up that orientation. Yeah. And so we're aware, we're cultivating lots of spiritual faculties and cultivating the steadiness of mind, samadhi, cultivating a million things, yeah. But we do it all one moment at a time, and that moment is free of grasping and engineering and the desperation that we usually have around striving and goal making. And so let's sit, see what happens. In the most general sense, our goals are wisdom, compassion, and to use Thich Nhat Hanh's language, understanding and love. And whatever progress we make towards the actualization of those goals, we can be happy with. So we just begin with a sense of the depth of aspiration, the reverence for those who have manifested understanding and love. And the sense of ourselves finding ourselves here in this stream, this lineage of understanding and love. And so there's an aspiration, but no urgency. We let go of our need to get anywhere, and in this way we get somewhere. Just pouring your awareness into your body. And blessing your whole body with awareness, the blooming and buzzing, the constellation of sensations. All infused with the intimacy of awareness. All phenomena have liberation as their core, says the Buddha. Every phenomena, every sensation and thought and sound are a kind of invitation to know everything. But grasping, striving towards goals makes things solid, gives everything a solid core. Not a core of liberation. And so we relax everything. Clinging always experiences a kind of friction, tension. We relax everything. We practice being a monastic in the sense that finally we're privileging awareness over our life, over the relentless struggle to get our ducks in a row. Thank you. It's good to sit with you. Um, so on Tuesday, said that a core mechanism of action in Dharma is attention therapy, and yesterday said the Dharma is a kind of cognitive therapy, and they interact. Attentional stability makes the learnings sink in deeper. And today, the characterizing the Dharma as an exposure therapy, moving towards that which we habitually avoid. And virtually every therapy, psychotherapy, group approaches, no matter what its name, has exposure as a core component. And that is a function of the pervasiveness of experiential avoidance, defined as the unwillingness to remain in contact with unpleasant thoughts, memories, emotions, other private internal experiences, and taking steps to alter aversive experience or the event that elicited that experience. And experiential avoidance is known as a transdiagnostic risk factor. It's across a wide range of psychological distress. There's experiential avoidance. So this is Hayes, 1996. Many forms of psychopathology are not merely bad problems, they are also bad solutions based on a dangerous and ineffective use of experiential avoidance strategies. Instead of encouraging people to use more clever ways to fight and win this war with their own thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations, the ubiquity of problems associated with experiential avoidance suggests that it might be safer to help people step out of this war altogether. Experiential avoidance, we often talk about it implicitly in the Dharma world, but it manifests in different ways. Been characterized, and there's not a definitive list, but been operationalized as procrastination, distraction, behavioral avoidance, difficulty enduring distress, aversion to distress, and repression, denial. And so exposure therapy in the psychotherapeutic world involves the deliberate approach of anxiety-provoking stimuli, people, activities, places, other internal experiences, with the ultimate goal of changing emotional and behavioral responses to life's experiences. And we do this to habituate, become desensitized to the fear, to disconfirm catastrophic beliefs around the feared outcomes. If I feel this, if I do that, if I encounter, to decatastrophize, and to develop new learning, to actually form associations between the feared experience or object and the experience of safety. And in clinical situations, you kind of create a hierarchy of exposures. So in like a snake phobia, just to be very simple, is the example I usually give a kind of rationale for the treatment and develop some access to tranquility, to ease, and then gradually introduce more and more anxiety-provoking experiences. So first you're writing the word snake, and then seeing a picture of a snake, and then walking past a pet store, and then getting close to the snake, and then holding the snake, and then you kind of, graduation day is the boa constrictor kind of wrapped around your shoulders or whatever, and you're at ease. Yeah, it's called systematic desensitization. And the Dharma is unsystematic exposure therapy. The Dharma is exposure therapy for samsara, for this realm, exposure therapy for samsara. Because we know as practitioners that anything that can disrupt our peace will. Yeah, that is the logic of the Dharma. Anything that can disrupt our peace will. And that means that this is the path of purification. And freedom is the uprooting, often characterized, enlightenment as the uprooting of greed, hate, and delusion. But that entails a deep, intimate contact with those forces. We cannot live in fear and obedience to the forces of greed, hate, and delusion. But that means we're going to have to feel our way through them. And so every time I get hungry, I can't eat. Every time I'm angry, I can't yell. Every time I'm anxious, I can't ruminate. We practice new strategies. We have these familiar ways we neutralize aversive experience. And in Dharma, we experiment with relinquishing the usual ways we neutralize and soothe aversive experience. And so purification is its own kind of unpleasantness, but it's wholesome unpleasantness. Yeah, you can taste the relief in it. Yeah. The unpleasantness it's there. The unpleasantness of purification for sure is dominant. But you can also sense things getting lighter. One of my teachers, Shinzen Young, says we develop a taste for purification. University College London survey published, prominent journal. 1,200 meditators, researchers were assessing unpleasant experience in meditators. And in this survey, they found that 26% of meditation practitioners reported particularly unpleasant experience associated with meditation. And they found strong evidence for an association between particularly unpleasant meditation-related experiences and retreat. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny to me. 26%, yeah, unpleasant experience. And the very obvious question is, what on earth are the other 74% doing? As our attention stabilizes, we get bigger and bigger doses of dukkha, yeah, of suffering, or suffering. And samadhi, the attentional side, the samadhi lubricates the mind. And so where it goes, it really goes. We see this very clearly in retreat. Where it goes, it really goes. And our peace at some point gives way to purification. Yeah. Whatever happiness or ease, tranquility, that gives way, and we move from the mode of abiding in some peace to purification. And in purification, we're called to make peace with primal forces that disrupt peace. There's sometimes really intense, high affect states of rage or terror, helplessness. And we just keep making peace with our conditioning. We just keep making peace with our conditioning. This is the exposure therapy dimension of Dharma. And in that exposure, we change our conditioning. We develop new understandings, more degrees of freedom. Michelle McDonald, who speaks so beautifully about all of this, says, we develop a relationship with everything so that we're not afraid of anything. Read a a story about a mathematician had a kind of very major impact on the field and then kind of vanished into some loops of isolation, pain, not totally clear, but something from one of his journals, reminded me of this theme today. I know that there is nourishing substance in everything that happens to me, whether the seeds are by my own hand or by others. It is up to me to eat it and watch it transform into knowledge. I've learned that in the harvest, however bitter, there is substantial flesh, which is up to us to nourish ourselves with. When this substance is eaten and has become part of our flesh, the bitterness, which was only the sign of our resistance to the food intended for us, has disappeared. So Dharma as a exposure therapy for samsara. Offer this for consideration. Pick up what's useful, leave behind what is not. So thank you all. Happy to be with you, and we'll keep going tomorrow. Yeah. Have a lovely day, whatever that means. Whatever lovely is supposed to look like today, may it be lovely. Yeah.